Is the Hollywood dream starting to look more like a nightmare? For Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, their reported $100 million golden ticket from Netflix has, according to a flood of new reports, hit a major snag. But this isn't just about a business deal gone sideways. It's a dangerous miscalculation that risks dragging them right back into their war with the royal family. The real question is, if their main strategy of telling the royal exit story is officially exhausted, what's their next move to stay in the game? Just when it seemed like a fragile piece might be taking hold, the story has exploded all over again. The saga of Harry and Meghan has always been about big, dramatic moves, from their shocking royal exit to the bombshell Oprah interview and their record-shattering Netflix docuseries. Each step was a deliberate choice to break away from the institution they felt had failed them. But now, the very platform that gave them their loudest voice is reportedly at the heart of a brand new crisis. In March 2026, a series of sensational reports claimed their massive Netflix partnership was imploding. Insiders alleged that the streaming giant was done with the couple, tired of hearing the same story, and unimpressed with anything that wasn't about the royals. Of course, the Sussexes and Netflix shot back, calling the stories absolutely inaccurate. But the damage may already be done. This public battle, pitting anonymous sources against official denials, does more than just threaten their media empire. It risks fanning the dying embers of their royal conflict into a full-blown blaze, and it could burn the last, rickety bridge back to London. Today, we're breaking down the story behind the story, the bombshell allegations, the furious denials, and what this all means for the future of the House of Windsor and the Sussexes' place in it. This whole mess kicked off with a single, seismic report from the industry Bible, Variety. Citing anonymous sources from deep inside Netflix, the article painted a picture of a partnership in total chaos. The original 5-year deal, signed back in 2020 for that widely reported, though unconfirmed, $100 million figure, was portrayed as having gone completely sour. According to these insiders, top Netflix execs were fed up. The problem? A perceived pattern of selling the same story about their exit from royal life. After the enormous success of the Harry v. Meghan docuseries in 2022, which was all about their grievances with the monarchy, it seems later projects just couldn't capture that same lightning in a bottle. The sources claim Netflix had grown tired of a content strategy that seemed to have only one move: attacking the monarchy. The allegations got pretty personal. One of the most damaging was that Meghan had developed a reputation for poor communication, sometimes just vanishing from Zoom meetings. Another story, a truly explosive one, suggested that Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos would now only speak with Meghan if a lawyer was present, a claim that implies a total collapse of trust. But almost as fast as these stories hit the internet, the counteroffensive began. A Netflix spokesperson issued a firm denial, calling the reports of a falling out absolutely inaccurate and confirming they still had multiple projects in the works with Archwell Productions. The Sussexes' own legal team came out swinging, blasting the claims as blatantly false. Addressing that incendiary rumor about Ted Sarandos, their lawyer clarified that Meghan not only texts and calls him regularly, but has been to his home without any lawyers, painting a picture of a warm, ongoing friendship. So, we're left in a familiar spot with the Sussexes, a war of information. On one side, you have anonymous insiders leaking stories of dysfunction and failure. On the other, you have official, on-the-record denials. The truth is probably somewhere in the murky middle. But in the court of public opinion, the fact that this firestorm is even happening is a huge problem because it feeds right into a narrative that has followed the couple for years. Whether those insider reports are 100% true or just a malicious smear campaign, they're gaining traction for one simple reason. They tap into the public perception that Harry and Meghan's main product is their royal drama. From the moment they stepped back, their value in the media world has been tied to their willingness to dish on what happened behind palace walls. Just look at the timeline. First came the 2021 Oprah interview, a global event that laid bare their pain. That was followed in late 2022 by the 6-part Netflix docuseries, Harry v. Meghan, which expanded on their story of being victims of the palace and the press. A few weeks later, Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, dropped and became a publishing sensation by sharing even more intimate and damaging details about his family. Each one was a commercial blockbuster. They broke records and dominated the global conversation. But they also created a huge problem. By front-loading their media careers with their most explosive material, they played their ace right at the start. So what's left in the deck? For a content machine like Netflix, which needs a constant stream of fresh hits, the fear that the Sussexes have already used up their best material is a real business concern. This is what insiders mean when they say Netflix is tired of the same story. It's not that the story wasn't a smash hit. It's that you can't tell it over and over again. This feels a lot like what happened with their Spotify deal back in 2023. After making just one season of Meghan's podcast, Archetypes, the massive deal collapsed. The fallout was public and brutal. A senior Spotify executive, Bill Simmons, even called them FING grifters. That comment, fair or not, stuck. It created a powerful narrative that the Sussexes were great at signing deals but struggled to deliver the goods. While their team would argue the situations are different, the public memory is what matters here. The Spotify saga set a precedent, and now, with all these negative headlines about Netflix, that grifter narrative is coming back with a vengeance. To really get what's going on, we have to look past the dramatic headlines at the actual projects being called failures. When you dig into the details, the story starts to fall apart. First up, Meghan's lifestyle show, with love. Then there's Meghan's lifestyle brand. The narrative was that when Archewell and Netflix parted ways on its distribution, it was another sign of failure. But again, the official story couldn't be more different. Both sides released positive statements confirming the one-year partnership ended amicably and was always intended to from the start. There was no mention of failure, just a planned, orderly conclusion to a business deal. So what's really happening? It looks like a classic case of perception versus reality. While the official statements point to business as usual, the anonymous leaks are designed to paint a picture of chaos and failure. The truth is, building a media brand isn't a straight line. There are pivots and adjustments. For most creators, that's just part of the process. But for Harry and Meghan, every single move is put under a global microscope, where a strategic pivot gets spun as a humiliating failure. This Hollywood drama doesn't just stay in Hollywood. Every headline, every rumor, and every denial sends shockwaves across the Atlantic, directly impacting their already fragile relationship with the royal family. This is why the Netflix situation is so dangerous. It risks stoking the fire just when things were supposed to be cooling down. First, the narrative of failure, whether it's true or not, weakens their position. They left the UK to find financial independence and control their own story. This wave of negative press creates an impression of desperation and feeds the argument that they can't succeed outside the royal bubble. That perception is incredibly damaging because it might tempt them to go on the offensive to stay relevant. If their lifestyle content isn't seen as enough, the pressure to go back to what worked before, attacking the monarchy, will be huge. Second, this whole mess brings back the toxic us versus them dynamic. For months, it seemed like there was a quiet détente. But with the Sussexes now fighting a public battle over their professional lives, the royal family can just stay silent and look dignified, floating above the fray. It reinforces the power of the very institution they left. The firm doesn't need to issue press releases proving its value. Its position is a given. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are once again on the defensive. Third, this has real-world consequences. The couple is still in a legal fight over their security when they visit the UK. A key part of the government's argument against providing taxpayer-funded protection is that they are private citizens earning their own money. The constant headlines about their multi-million-dollar deals, especially when paired with new attacks on the monarchy, make the British public and government deeply unsympathetic to their security needs. This backlash, fueled by their media strategy, makes any genuine family reconciliation almost impossible. Finally, it pours gasoline on the whole narrative of internal competition. For years, reports have claimed there's friction between the Sussexes and the Cambridges. This new drama, centered on Harry and Meghan's fight for relevance, only reinforces the idea that they are trying to build a rival court, which breeds resentment and makes any personal healing between the brothers and their wives that much harder. We are at a critical crossroads in the Harry and Meghan story. The chaos around their Netflix deal has created a perfect storm. On one side, official sources tell us everything's fine, new projects are coming, and the partnership is strong. On the other, a flood of insider leaks paints a picture of a dream in decline. Ultimately, the absolute truth of the Netflix deal might be less important than the fallout from this public battle. By overplaying what their critics call their only card, the royal exit story, Harry and Meghan have backed themselves into a corner. They're not just fighting for their brand. They're fighting a perception that their professional value is dropping. The easiest way to prove their relevance might be to return to the one topic guaranteed to get headlines: the royal family. Doing so would be a massive risk. It would prove their critics right, alienate them even further from the public, and almost certainly burn the final bridge to the family they left behind. Their path forward requires an incredibly delicate balance. They have to prove they are more than just their royal past, all while navigating a media landscape that seems determined to keep them trapped by it. Their next move will be their most telling yet. What do you think is really going on? Are the insider reports the real story, or is this a coordinated smear campaign? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of all the royal drama with insights you won't get anywhere else, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.